Rise and shine, Value Farm family. Welcome back to another episode of The Farm. I'm super excited to be back here with you guys. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and also turn your notification bells on. And of course, to all our returning subscribers, thank you so much for showing us so much love at The Farm. And of course, what we bring to you, we are here to share ideas. We are here to share what we are doing at The Farm. And there's a lot to share with you guys. So today, definitely, as you see from the title of the video, we are going to be talking about dairy goat farming. I know this is one of the requested videos you guys wanted us to share with you guys, because if you're going to venture into goat farming, you have to make a decision. Which type of goats are you going to decide on? Which goats are you going to start with? Which goats are you going to continue with? Because sometimes people start with different types of goats. At the end of it all, they need maybe for milk production, they need for meat production, all that, or even breeding. So today, we are just going to focus on the dairy goat farming, because this is highly requested and this is very profitable, guys. Because you can imagine, in Uganda, how many of you guys have taken goat milk? It is very rare. It is rare. For me personally, I think I've taken it once. But most of us have really tasted cow milk and it's everywhere. But goat milk is rare to find. It is on high demand. That's what you have to know. So of course, I have my co-director right here, who is definitely going to also share with us the breeds, the management, and what someone out there can focus on if they're going to start a dairy goat farm. You are most welcome. Good morning. Please introduce yourself to the viewers out there if they're watching you for the very, very first time.
Wow. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Value Farm family. My name is Gregory Mondazir, but those of you who know me, everyone refers to me as Grafton. Well, yeah, it's always nice to be back at the farm. And the topic today is actually, I'm going to say it's a bit personal to me because, you know, I spent some time in France. I spent some time throughout the Caribbean. And, you know, in France, all over Europe, including certain parts of the Caribbean, dairy goat, particularly dairy as it pertains to goat, is the norm. But for some strange reason here, on the continent, unless you go to specific parts of the different areas, dairy goat is something that's very, very seldomly done and not really being done on a large scale, especially in this side of Africa. Right?
Yeah, it is not so common.
Portion of the continent, so it's really, really scarce to find goat milk. And what I can share with you guys from my personal experience, number one, goat milk is delicious. It's highly profitable, as my partner just mentioned before. But if you've ever been to Greece, if you've ever been anywhere throughout Europe, you know, I think goat milk is far more common based on the region that that you're traveling or you live. But in this country, there's an abundance of cow milk. No matter where you go, where you turn,
there's cow milk everywhere.
You know, like a family might not even be able to afford a house, but they have a cow because that's what's sustaining the family. Well, here's the thing. If you think about it, right, an average cow here in Uganda, particularly a good breed, is going to cost how much?
Around 2 million Uganda shillings.
And 2 million is roughly a shade of over $600 US, right? But most dairy goats, you know, is going to cost you how much?
It's like 700,000, 500.
It varies.
A good one.
It varies, right? It varies on the breed, where you find it, the type. But here's the point. It's a whole lot cheaper to come up with 500 to a million shillings, which is between $150 to $300 versus coming up with $600, right? But I think the best advantage going with dairy goats have over cattle. With cattle, look at this. Look at this monstrosity. We had to build here, guys, in order to just keep seven
cows, right?
And the same structure, if we were to convert it to a whole dairy goats,
oh my God, that would be a lot.
At least 40
of them, yeah, true.
40 goats in that space. So you're gonna save money on your structure. You need a quarter of the space. But yet, here's the part that's even more exciting. If you're lucky enough to get your hand on the right goat breed, right? Some goat breed will actually give you more milk, if not the same, or even more milk than some of your local cows.
That is so true.
So
we could also advise them on what breeds should you go for in case you're going for dairy.
yeah,
Goat farming.
I mean, the bottom line is there are various amounts. For me personally, I think it's regionally based, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to find alpine goats if you're in France. It's easy to find alpine goats if you're in Switzerland, based on where you are
England,
in Europe, right?
yeah.
And the UK. And even in South Africa, right? Because they've imported some of those breeds there as well. But the number one thing I would urge you guys to do your research, find out what's available in your area.
In your country.
And what's possible. If you can't get the breed itself physically, AI is a huge component, artificial insemination, because in many instances, you might not be able to get your hand on the actual goat stock.
On the goats, yeah, that is true.
Right? So you might not be able to get 100%, but you know what? The best thing you could do is actually get that genetic pool woven into your current flock.
That's the current flock to crossbreed.
And so, you know, don't focus so much on just getting the
pures.
Just focus on being able to cross it with what you have. And ultimately, you know, when you do raise enough funds, when you do have the ability, if you are gracious, if you're lucky enough to start importing, then you go ahead. Then
you're
and
good,
do that.
good
Exactly.
enough. Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to mention, the reason that cross is very valuable, guys. Yes, we have boas. Yes, we have savannas. Yes, we have some of the local crosses that we've
crosses
improved.
that we have here.
But here's what is key. A lot of you guys may find this situation, and I hope it doesn't happen to you. You might have one of your local goats, and you happen to have somebody who has a boa, right? You quickly cross that local goat with a boa. The boa kids are very big. Look at this. This is a boa cross behind me right
It's
there.
a boa cross, just
That
1 week.
Is 1 week old.
You
okay?
can imagine.
That's a boa cross, right?
It is so big.
Ultimately, why I'm bringing this up to you guys, in many instances, people skip a step. They have the local goat. It doesn't come from a milk background, and they immediately cross it with a boa or with a savanna. And those kids are big. The kids are there. You've done 80% of the job, but that mother does not produce enough
milk for the kids.
How do you prevent that? Before you quickly cross your local breeds with a boa or a savanna or even a Kalahari red, you should definitely try to introduce some sort of milk breed into the genetic line. Because even if it's alpine, if you're able to find them, because alpines are here in Uganda.
They're here. And we, by the way, have
we
also
have a
some.
few here,
yeah.
And we've actually practiced what we preach. We've actually
crossbred them.
Bred a lot of the alpines with some of our goats that we've improved here at the farm.
True.
And the reason we wanted to do that is because that actually happened to us here, where we actually made purchases. And yes, we feed our goats great. I mean, there's an abundance of food everywhere you look. We've taken all the precautionary steps. However, we bred them with the locals, with the boa, too soon. And what we found, the kids came out looking great, but the mother had almost no milk. So the mortality rate for your flock will definitely go down if you make that simple deviation by adding a milk breed into your lineup. And here's the last one I'm gonna make, right? This is something most people don't even think about. One might argue having milk goats is a smarter way to go than just meat, because it gives you both.
Yeah,
because when you're done milking the goats, you know what you could do? The goat still provides you
meat.
There you go. So you have the options to go both ways in this instance, and both options are profitable. And so if you're thinking about goats, definitely dairy is a sector that's neglected, particularly in this country.
But profitable.
Extremely profitable. But the part that really boggles my mind, less than 2% of goat farmers in this country, whether they do it professionally or I would say on their personal homesteads, actually milk their goats. The cheese industry is massive. The opportunities there are enormous. Whether it's cheese, goat
yogurt,
milk, yogurt, you know, even powdered goat milk. If you in certain regions,
I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's extremely valuable. But this is the part, if you're not motivated by the love of the milk breed, what should motivate you is the following piece of information. How much is 1 liter of milk here in Uganda, Tina, for cow milk?
For cow milk, it can be like around 1,000 for a liter.
And how much
for cow milk?
1,000, 1,100?
1,200.
Max, right?
Yeah.
How much is it for a liter of goat milk?
That can go up to like 5,000 or to 6,000 Uganda shillings a liter.
So that's a markup of almost like what, 400%, right?
Yeah.
So if you can do that, right? If you have the goats, if you can get the milk breeds into your program, you should do it. Because you're gonna have mothers that will produce more milk, more meat, right? Because you can do both. You can have both the milk and the meat, and also alter your genetic line of your local and indigenous goats for the better. So that's like the best piece of advice I can give you guys.
Wow, that is amazing. Let's talk about the system on how you can definitely raise your dairy goats in your farm. Maybe there are two ways of how you can raise them, either through free range or zero grazing. But for dairy goat farming, you need to focus on zero grazing because it is necessary. It is much better for them. Maybe you can explain to them better why they need to consider the zero grazing method.
Well, it's good for both, whether you're doing cows or if you're doing goats, because the more the animal move around, the more energy it spends, the less milk you're gonna actually get in terms of the output, right?
Yeah.
So zero grazing itself, it takes the actual work load away from the animal, having to actually walk around, exert that additional energy and burn extra calories. And plus, you know, being able to be stationary where you have your food there. Quite often with zero grazing, the food is there and water's right behind
them. The water is just right there.
Right? So they don't spend much energy walking around. They're not in the sun. They're not in the element. It's actually much safer in many instances because they're not coming face to face with the parasites when they're on the ground or when there's mist and the early morning mist.
That is so true.
Know, so it's definitely beneficial from that standpoint. But then you also get a higher output of milk as well because the more they eat, the less energy they spend, the more milk they'll actually be able to produce.
Yeah. Then also on the kind of the structure that you need to construct, of course you have to always raise your structure. Like you see ours right here, it's already raised. Good enough. We have both the dairy kind of goats and also the meat production goats, but we also raise them already. So for the dairy kind of goats, you always have to raise them so that they cannot get the diseases. Then also for the hooves not to always get, you know, damaged. That is the other advantage of that kind of structure that you need to raise up.
Definitely. Now, guys, again, I know we briefly mentioned this before. Like, just think about it in terms of space, in terms of size, in terms of time frame, right? If you go the other way, where you just get a cow, because that's what everybody's accustomed to. That's what you grew up seeing. That's what everybody in your village is doing. That's what your parents did, grandparents did. You need a lot of space to keep a cow, right? Especially properly. If you can go with 1/4 of the space per goat and you have patience, right? Dairy goats are the way to go because not only is it going to cost you less money to start, the return on the milk harvest itself, you can get 4 times the money.
That is so true.
So give it a chance, give it a try, do your best. And again, in this country where we are now and all around the globe, there are a lot more followers than leaders, right?
Exactly.
Wherever you are, I'm going to put out this call to arms to you guys. Wherever you're watching, take the bold step and actually try to step into the fray because when it comes to this type of farming, most people are just following the standard status quo. But in reality, what needs to happen is one of you needs to be brave enough, right, to actually take the step. And you might become the one in your area, in your region, to literally set the market.
That is true.
Because there's so much competition in standard goat milk production, cow milk production,
compared to
the goat production, there's a huge opportunity. And believe me, we always try to tell you guys, don't focus so much on the market.
On the market,
The market exists. The problem is most people
can't find.
They don't know where to find what it is that you can provide for them, right? It's the same. There's the same rule apply here. If you start to actually produce this milk, the market is gonna find you.
That is so true.
Don't give up. Start slow. You keep improving slowly, steadily, and before you know it, you're gonna become the actual person, the go-to person to provide this milk. Because believe it or not, in many parts of this country, a lot of mothers actually don't produce enough milk. And the number one substitute, right, the most natural substitute is actually goat milk,
That is so
right?
true.
And so there's many different applications, you know, apart from the taste and the quality, but it's really, truly needed.
It's all needed. For even us.
Just think about it. There's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? I mean, they've done this, you know, in Europe. They've done it in Greece. They've done it in Italy. They've done it all over Europe. This is the law. I mean, we're on the continent, and why not take a chance to actually provide something that the world has already discovered that they love, that they appreciate, and we have
But
the
it's so
breeds
hard.
here, right? But it's so scarce. You know, there's no competition.
There is no competition, by the way. That is so true.
You know, cheese production in Uganda. I'm sorry if you're a cheese manufacturer here. The state of cheese in this country is really sad. We need you guys out there, whether you're in the diaspora, if you are native Ugandan, if you're from Ghana, if you're from anywhere on the continent, you study and you learn how to make the proper cheese, the proper dairy products, you know, the value addition to dairy. Come home and help.
And help
Get
us.
and put us on the map. Because let me tell you, the milk is available, especially in Western Uganda, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual byproduct itself,
We don't have so
it's not
much.
here.
That is so
And
true.
most of the cheese, and what motivated us to actually do this video, yesterday I did grocery shopping. I actually bought some cheddar cheese, right? And it was so expensive. I took one bite. I'm sorry to say, I will not be able to finish that bar of cheese because I don't even know what it tastes like, but I can tell you it was not cheddar cheese.
It wasn't
right?
nice.
So now that's actually the best advice I can give. That's my opinion. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but listen, the country needs you. We need goat milk production, and we need young farmers, old farmers, beginners, intermediate, advanced. Take a chance into the sector. It's
That
going
is
to
so
pay
true.
off
It's
big.
going to pay off. And also to add on something, like someone may be considering to start off a dairy goat farm, but they are just wondering, how am I going to feed these goats? You know, there's so many things within the farm that you can definitely use to feed. For example, for the maize, when it reaches the milk stage, that's when you have to cut it off and also convert it to silage. That is also very, very nutritious. Then also other grasses like the alfalfa, then elephant grass, you can always cut and give to your goats for milk to boost their milk production.
And here in Uganda, there's an abundance of elephant grass everywhere.
Yeah.
It's on the side of the road. I mean, there's all around the swamps, no matter where you go. And if you get the cuttings you plant after 3 months, you know,
They're already sprouting out.
it's sprouting. But the best advice I can give you, before you get goats, before you get cows, you know, plant your grasses first, plant your feeds first. That way, you're not going to have to go far to go look for it, especially if you're going to be practicing zero grazing.
Exactly. And the advantage of zero grazing, you can even start it in your backyard. It's easy to start. It's not very expensive. As long as you just invest on the breeds that you need or the crosses that you need, you're good to go. You're good to start.
I mean, some of you might be asking, you know, what are some of the milk breeds? You know, can you give the audience some of the options as far as what some of the milk breeds that are available? Or
In
some
Uganda?
Of the ones that, I mean, yeah, here in Uganda, but overall.
Overall, like the common ones.
Yeah.
You can start with the alpines. Like what we have here, we have the alpine goats. Those goats are very, very docile animals. They're really so lovely. They're not troublesome. That's what I should really say. The ones we have here are so humble. The alpines are very good and the milk production is just okay. The kidding season, we don't worry about milk production for the kids. We have not really started milking them, but for the kids, they have enough milk. Then let's talk about the Senan. The Senans are also very, very good. Before when I go to the Senan goats, the advantage of the alpine, they are resistant to every condition. Like weather conditions, they are really, really weather
They're
resistant.
very adaptable.
They can adapt to all these weather conditions. Yeah. Then the Senan, I talked about it already. Then we also talk about the Nubian. I know the Nubians may not be very, very common, but if you go to South Sudan, they are really common.
Well,
that
let me
side.
just tell you guys, if you're a Jamaican, if you're a Haitian, if you're anywhere in the Caribbean, that's the best option you have on your island. And you guys know how important the Nubian breeds are, right? But it's the same thing in the US, it's the same thing in the UK. You know, I love the Nubians. In fact, you know, I'm on a mission to actually import some here on the farm.
Some, yeah.
Because the milk from the Nubians are delicious. Of course.
Really?
Absolutely.
It's better than this normal.
I wouldn't say better. It's a matter of preference because a lot can impact the quality of the milk, the feeds,
The feeds,
you know, the purity of the breed itself. So there's a lot of factors, but Nubian goats are great mothers. All right. I mean, they provide excellent milk. Size also is a factor. I mean, yes, everybody want to get boas, everybody want to get all these other exotic breeds, right? Breeds, but these Nubian goats are wonderful mothers. They provide all the milk you're ever gonna need, both for the kids and for yourself and for the community.
For the community and even for the pigs, guys. This is what we give to our pigs, by the way. We give them cow milk for now, but with time, you never know what we shall definitely give them.
I hope and pray that day will come where we'll have enough milk goats here to actually be able to provide our
pigs, yes,
some of the excess milk that
milk that we have.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's all I have for today.
I really appreciate, guys. We have to make this short and sweet, but at least I hope you've learned something from this. Before we conclude the video, like the byproducts of dairy farming, like the wastes, these are some of things that you may ignore, but you can still use it for manure. You can use it for processing your biogas, and biogas is very necessary in a farm. It can help you cut on the costs of the farm as well, and also, you know, help you to increase on your production.
I mean, the best thing is, like, we live in Uganda, for example. Here it rains almost all the time. So biogas production is important because a lot of the time the biggest challenge some of the workers have here is finding enough firewood, right?
Firewood, yeah.
And charcoal is not the cleanest, so if you could do biogas, you'll definitely be helping the environment.
And we're about to set one here, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just a matter of time. I mean, there's a lot of development taking shape on the farm.
Yeah.
We'll keep, you guys stay tuned, subscribe, follow, turn on your notification.
Yeah.
And you'll definitely see this.
See all this.
Why are you giving away? Why are you giving away trade secrets before time? Huh?
I'm just excited because of what is really going to happen. But we are super excited, guys. So much is coming on this channel, and so much is coming for the farm as well. But we really appreciate you guys who have been watching from the beginning to the end. So this is something that you need to consider, and that's why we came here to share with you guys the ideas, because we want to always share beneficial content with you guys so that someone out there can also think about it. So guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, turn on your notification bells not to miss out on any uploads, and also tell a friend to subscribe, to watch our videos. There's a lot coming, and there's a lot we already have on the channel. Till next time. Bye.